And now, fingers crossed, let me know, Clara. Welcome back, Clara. Good to see you again. Thank you for joining us. Let me know if you can hear me. Write in the chat for me. It would be great. I will start again by introducing myself. Perfect. So for anyone watching that doesn't know me, Clara, I know you, you know me. I see you for almost every business webinar that we do. So thank you for coming. But for people that do not know me, my name is David. I am from South London in England, a small town in the London borough of Kingston. Kingston, I forgot the name then. We say the London borough, B-O-R-O-U-G-H of Kingston, the London borough of Kingston. So it is a region of London, a district of London, but the town is called Kingston. Yeah. The reason I say this is because I understand that it's not necessarily common language to know things like this. So yeah, interesting to know. Good to see you again, Clara. So I hope you are having a good week. It's Thursday today, and the weather today was very, very nice. It was very hot, very hot. So I started today by cleaning my house, a complete clean, cleaning the floors, the kitchen, bedrooms, bathrooms, everything. And then I went to the pharmacy. I went to the pharmacy to get a spray for my nose, because I get really bad allergies. Because it's now spring, I need to get spray for my nose, and it's really not nice. I don't like the spray, but at least it means I can breathe easily. I can breathe nice and smooth, but perfect. After that, I had a little aperitivo in my house, of course, just me and my boyfriend, because today we are celebrating our anniversary. Today is our 4th anniversary. We have been together for 4 years, so we're celebrating with a little aperitivo together. Perfect. And so on to today's focus. Today we are doing Business Focus Activity Intermediate Networking 2. Go with the flow. Cool. Clara said, it will be sad when the situation gets better, and I won't attend the classes by teachers from Milan. The weather was better a few days ago, now it's colder. Remind me, Clara, where are you from? Where are you? Marco, welcome. Good to see you again. Thank you for coming. Thank you for joining us. Clara, remind me where you're from, because you said that the weather is the weather's not good. It'd be sad when the situation gets better. I wanted to. This is really nice. I really like this comment. Thank you very much, Clara. Maybe you can move to Milan and go to the school that I work in. And I work in Viale Montenero in the south part of Milan. Parma, it's not too far from Milan. Maybe it's a bit too far to travel for English school, but thank you for that comment. That comment's really, really nice. Cool. Alessia, welcome. Nice to see you. Thank you for coming, and thank you for the good wishes. Alessia, Clara, you've also said we should make a dinner. Alessia said happy anniversary. We're not making dinner actually tonight, because I'm English, and in England, typically when there is a celebration, you go out for dinner. You go out for dinner. You don't have dinner at home. So because I have been cooking at home every day for 8 weeks in quarantine, I have been cooking every single day for 8 weeks. Tonight, we decided as a celebration, we can both relax and we will get takeaway. We will get takeaway. So we're getting a takeaway pizza. my favorite food from one of my favorite restaurants here in Milan called Marghe. It's very, very good. And because of the quarantine, they are doing a very cheap delivery. I believe only €1 on delivery, which is nice. Yeah, so €1 on delivery. Am I a good cook? Good question, Alessia. I like to think I am a good cook. Sometimes maybe I use too much salt in my food. That is the only complaint that I usually receive from my boyfriend, but he's very honest with me, which is good. But so yeah, in general, I think I'm a good cook. I think I mostly cook Italian food, to be honest, because before I met my boyfriend, I didn't cook very much. And now with him, I cook every day. So yeah, I mostly cook Italian food. I have become used to cooking Italian. But thank you, Clara. Yeah, good choice to get pizza. We can both relax, have a glass of wine, and get a pizza. Perfect. Today, Marco, you're going to have pizza as well. Awesome. So it's the pizza day, homemade, but not by you. Cool. So you can relax. Who is making the pizza for you? Who is making your pizza? Who's cooking your dinner? Alessia, Clara, tell us as well. What are you having for dinner tonight? Anything interesting? Pizza is usually my favorite things. Sorry, I'm taking my keys out of my pocket. They're not comfortable. What was I saying? Pizza. Yeah, I always ask my students here in Milan what pizza they can recommend in Milan here. Any recommendations for Parma? If ever I visit Parma, it would be nice to know. Cool. So starting off today, we have Intermediate Networking 2, Go with the Flow. Go with the flow. So my first question then is, for the title of this focus, what does it mean, go with the flow? What does go with the flow mean? Because this is a phrase. It's kind of idiomatic. It's an idiom, sort of. Not completely, but maybe the definition or the meaning isn't completely clear. So if someone doesn't know, if someone does know, please tell us. For the people that don't know, if you don't know, it's okay. You can tell me. You can tell me if you don't know. And we can talk about it as a group. Clara, tonight, just a steak of meat with vegetables. I'm waiting for my homemade starter. I'm making it and I'll use it to make pizza. Ooh, so tonight is steak with vegetables. Very, very good. And then you're going to make something with a pizza. Very nice. Very nice. Cool. I love food. I love talking about food. So anytime you guys want to tell me recipes or ingredients or restaurants, anything, tell me, because I want to know everything. Clara, you said, in Milan, I know that Gino Sorbillo is a good pizzeria. Yes. Unfortunately, I haven't been to Gino Sorbillo yet, but my students tell me about it often. It's a very good one. It's originally from Naples, I believe. Alessia, you can correct me on that. The two most famous pizzerias in Naples, I believe, are Sorbillo and Dan Michele. Both very, very good ones. And I've been to Dan Michele, the second one. Best pizza in the world, in my opinion. Anyway. Perfect, Marco. Yes, Italians usually talk a lot about food, even when they're eating. Yes, I understand that where I don't speak much Italian, but my friends at lunch, they talk about dinner. And at dinner, they talk about tomorrow's lunch. At that lunch, they talk about dinner, and you're always talking the next meal. It's always very interesting. And I like it because there's lots of different regions that have different typical foods. Alessia, I'm having a burger and potato salad. Very simple food for tonight. Simple, but awesome. Is it a cheeseburger? A cheese and bacon burger? Always good to talk. Always good to add those extras into a burger. Alessia, go with the flow probably means to let external forces lead us. Awesome. That is the perfect definition. Yes, to let external forces lead us. When other things happen and you just follow, you do what other people want you to do. You don't make a decision, you don't think about consequences, you just go with the flow. Sometimes it's nice on holiday, if your friend has lots of plans, then to go with the flow can be very good. But sometimes professionally, you need to take control and lead us where we need to go. So sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, but awesome. Great work. Awesome. Thank you for that definition, Alessia. Exactly. Yummy. Da Michele is my favorite. Awesome. It was my favorite as well. Best pizza ever for me. Wonderful. So let's get started then. Go with the flow. Today we are talking about plans, agreeing and disagreeing, and some basic connectives. So with these networking business activities, we talk about making plans, meeting new people professionally, making plans to see them again, and how your businesses can maybe come together, or how two individuals can come together professionally. So making plans, agree, disagree, because when you make plans, you say yes, you say no, and then connectives. Connectives are very important because they are what help us elevate our language. It's great when you can create a sentence and create multiple sentences, but to connect them together helps with the fluidity, and it helps with the flow of what you're saying. So it's always very useful. Perfect. Let's get started. Yeah. Pinpointing success. Decide whether the following scenarios are better for short-term or long-term success. Cool. So a very important part of business. Is it short-term or long-term success? So we have positive media attention, employee training, taking out loans for investment, all-time high quarterly earnings, name recognition, and advertisement campaign. Cool. So tell me, positive media attention, is it good for short-term or for long-term success? Short-term or long-term success? So positive media attention, guys, I'm just waiting for your messages to come through in the chat. Marco, Clara, Alessia, tell me, is it short-term or long-term success? If something gets posted on social media, it could be Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, the three most important. But media also includes newspapers, TV, and the news. Cool, Clara, Alessia, you've both said short-term. And to be honest, yeah, I agree. Oops, wrong one. This one. Perfect. I agree, actually. Media attention can usually be very quick. It can usually be very big, very important, and very fundamental. But usually it only lasts like 1, 2, or 3 days 3 if you're lucky, and then it's forgotten completely, and people can continue. So yeah, very, very short term. If it's positive media attention, great. It can be very important. If it's negative media attention, don't worry too much because it's short term. Yeah. Next one, employee training. Of course, Clara, you've put long term. Of course, it's long term. I remember when I worked in retail in London, I was the store manager for a perfume shop. The store manager for a perfume shop. And often I had my colleagues complaining to me. So managers of different stores in different locations. We didn't work directly together. They complained to me that their employees were not very good at their jobs and that the manager had to do all of the work for everyone. So my idea was I need to train my employees in my shop to do a very, very good job and train them to do everything to a very high standard. This way, it was very difficult. Short term, it was very difficult because it was very time consuming. To train someone takes a long time and it takes a lot of energy. But after 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, people were good at their job and it was very, very effective for progression for themselves, for me as well. It's very, very good. Perfect. What was the next one? Number 3, taking out loans for investment. So, Alessia, you've said long term taking out loans for investment. Alessia, do you agree? Marco, do you agree? Taking out loans for investment. Is it long term or short term? Just make that bigger so you can read it properly. Also, guys, tell me if there is any language you don't understand. Let me know. Let me know. Okay, so maybe maybe your messages just aren't coming through yet. Could be taking some time. But taking out loans, yeah, that's going to be long term, of course. Short term positive effects, of course. Short term positive effects because you take the money and you can suddenly buy new things, advertise effectively, hire new employees. But this is planning for the future. And those short-term things, they will make you spend money. But in the long term, they will bring back the money. The advertising will bring customers. The employees will keep the customers. And so there'll be more money long term to pay back the loans, and you can give the money back. Alessia, it depends on the investments and on the amortization plan you get. Amortization, of course. If you get a big investment, it can influence your activity long term completely. Maybe you get an investment that's too big and you can't pay it back effectively. Fingers crossed that doesn't happen. But of course, it can change your plans completely, whether you get something, a big loan, a short loan, a small loan, and you plan to pay back quickly or not. But perfect. Alessia, you agree? Agree with what I said? That it invests long term, hopefully. Perfect. Next one, all-time high quarterly earnings. All-time high quarterly earnings. So we have some language here that we need to look at, need to understand. What does it mean, all-time high? What does all-time high mean? What does it mean, all-time high? just wait for your messages to come through on that one. Tell me, what does all-time high mean? What does all-time high mean? Let me know. So Clara said it could mean carrying on getting good results for a long time. Ooh, no, it doesn't actually. It's kind of the opposite. Kind of the opposite. All-time high can be with other adjectives. All-time, yes, definitely. Marco, it can. All-time high, all-time low, depending on the adjective you're using and the variable that changes. So all-time means record breaking. So here where it says all-time high quarterly earnings. Earnings are the income for the business, the money that a business takes. Quarterly is the quarter of a year, the 3 months in 1 year, the quarter of a year. And so in one quarter, you received record-breaking money, income, earnings. And so for that quarter, very, very good result. It's short term because great, you've made that money, but then next quarter, what happens? And the quarter after that, what happens? Will you continue? You don't know. So I would say it's short term. It's great. It's a quick injection of money, record breaking, very high. It's the highest ever. Yeah. You could say all-time low for something that doesn't happen a lot. Maybe you didn't make any money. It's at an all-time low. It's at the negative. You didn't make any money in the quarter. Okay, I think I'm back. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Let me know. I think the battery is dying in my AirPods. They're quite old now. I need to maybe get some new ones. 17% down. Okay. An all-time failure. You would probably on that one. Cool, Alessia, I'm glad you can hear me. I'm back. Wonderful. Thank you for the feedback. But Marco, for your question, yeah, you can say it to be sarcastic. I guess anything you could say in English to be sarcastic, because in English, or in Britain at least, our humor is very dry, we say. Very dry, very sarcastic. So if someone does something, we'd probably do the opposite. If someone did something very badly, sarcastically, we would say, that is an all-time failure. That is an all-time failure. Just to be sarcastic, because that's what we do in England. We're very sarcastic, we're very dry, and we give the opposite situation. So if you make a very, very, very good pizza, someone is making you a pizza for dinner, Marco, you could say to them, this is an all-time failure, meaning it's the worst pizza you have had in your life. But of course, yes, you can use that to be sarcastic. You can use it to be serious if something is not successful. You could say it like that. But yeah, cool. But in general, all-time quarterly earnings, as I was saying, short-term success. The other one, what was it? Name recognition. Name recognition. So if someone can recognize your name and someone knows the name of your company or your brand, Marco, you said before, yes, definitely, this is long-term. If you get the name of your company into someone's head, it's perfect. You don't need to advertise. You don't need to spend money on newsletters, emails. Don't need to spend time on new things. If your name is in their head, you're perfect. You're good to go. Like famous brands like McDonald's, Coca-Cola, Apple, Microsoft. Good names, good brands. Trying to think of some others. Fashion, you've got Versace, Christian Dior, Prada. Very, very famous, very, very successful. If it's in your head, long term. The great success of all time is the same of all time success. You'd say the greatest success of all time for a superlative. The greatest success of all time. So yes, you could say this is, so subject plus is plus an all-time success. Yeah, like the iPhone for Apple is probably an all-time success. This is an all-time success. Perfect. The success, the greatest success of all time. Probably inventing something like electricity, discovering electricity. The cool final one then, advertisement campaign. Is that long-term or short-term? Advertisement campaign. Marco, you said before, short-term, 100%. It's a short-term one. Because just like media attention, advertising is a sort of media, a form of media. And so, yeah, once the campaign is over, it's forgotten very, very quickly. And you need a new advertising campaign. Cool, cool. So here, pieces to the puzzle. Pieces to the puzzle. With a partner, complete the following sentences based on your personal thoughts. So guys, write in the chat, tell us what you think. With a partner, complete the following sentences based on your personal thoughts. Employees stay at a company because the company was losing money, so customer satisfaction depends on the sales department won a big client and so here we're talking about reason, result, consequential actions, and so forth. So you can answer for your own company or you can answer in general, but perfect. So if I finish these sentences for my English school, for example, I might also keep things more general, but hey. So employees stay at a company. Oh, this one I will answer generally because it's very, very common across different companies that people will stay for the same reason. So employees stay at a company because there is an opportunity to progress, an opportunity to progress professionally. So if you are a sales assistant in a shop, maybe you can become a supervisor and then a manager and you can progress. Another reason employees stay at a company is because the company keeps them motivated. because the company keeps them motivated. The company gives them a reason to stay. Yeah, that's a reason that people stay at the company. The company was losing money. I'll make this bigger so you guys can read it. Marco, you said customer satisfaction depends on the quality of products and the attention to clients. Attention to clients. 100%. I completely agree. Yeah, it's all about client attention and quality of a product. Quality of a product or service. Yeah. So just like my English school, the reason that you guys are probably still students of the school during this time is because we are providing a service on here despite the school being closed. So cool. Hopefully we're giving you a good service. Clara said, employees stay at a company because they have a good work-life balance and good training. Yes, of course, 100%. They are happy in their personal life and their professional life, so they have that balance. It's very, very important. And good training, 100%, kind of talks about what I said about progression. If a employee has a lot of training, they can also progress, and so they're happy in a company. Perfect. Number 2, the company was losing money. So what happens? What does a company do if they're losing money? Alessia, you've said employees, careful of your, maybe a typo there, careful of your plural. Employees stay at a company because they are satisfied both with their interpersonal relationship and with their colleagues and with their wage. Perfect. Yeah, really good. Good language in there. Interpersonal relationships, probably a plural on that one, and with their wage. Very, very good. Clara, you've said the sales department won a big client and the manager has decided to reward his employee with higher wages. Fingers crossed. Keep our fingers crossed for that one. It's a very good finish to that sentence, though. I like that a lot. 100%. A good finish to that sentence. Not very common, but we can definitely hope that happens. Any other finishes to these sentences? So we've got customer satisfaction depends on from Marco. We've done employee satisfaction from everyone. Sales department from Clara. What about the company losing money? How can you? 2, they moved a department to another country. Don't remember the exact term. Offshore. So you could say they move the finances to an offshore account, perhaps. They moved the finances to an offshore account. Oops, I can type. That would be a probable situation. 100%, Marco. I like the finish to that sentence. Not legal in most situations because usually that's to avoid taxes. So careful with that one. But yes, you are correct. An offshore account. Quite possibly they would do something like that. I completely agree. Cool. So wonderful. Good job on answering those ones, guys. Thank you very much for that. And here we have a case study for Hopskitch Films in Sydney. Hopskitch Films in Sydney. So Hopskitch is an award-winning independent film and documentary producer. The company's latest fiscal year has been mediocre, despite making many critically successful films. CEO June Wheaton connects with acclaimed executive producer Christine Simpson Simpson is considering a future investment in Hopsketch Films, though she has some concerns. Cool. Marco, oh no, when they produce something not in the original country to lower the costs. How do you say it? Produce something? No. Okay, so moving finances to an offshore account is to receive money, possibly illegally, in a different account. So I misunderstood what you meant there. But here, to produce something in a different country to lower the costs, we could say that is outsourcing from another country, where you go somewhere else to get something, you outsource. Or to say offshore, I'm not sure. I think we would just say outsourcing. You would outsource from another country, or import, to import products. No, I understood you now, Marco. Don't worry. You would outsource to another country, or you would start to import your products. It's probably what we would say. At the moment, a lot of the world does import and export because of costs. Yeah, so outsourcing, importing, exporting. Perfect. Cool. I'm glad I answered that question, but good job. So here, our case study talking about Hopsketch Films from Sydney. So I'll read this again and then we'll answer the questions at the bottom. Hopsketch is an award-winning independent film and documentary producer. The company's latest fiscal year has been mediocre, despite making many critically successful films. CEO June Wheaton connects with acclaimed executive producer Christine Simpson. Simpson is considering a future investment in Hopsketch Films, though she has some concerns. What type of companies do investors look for? What concerns do they have before investing? So, thinking about this situation with Hopsketch Films in Sydney, I'll put that in big so you can see it properly. Thinking about this situation, why are people like June Wheaton interested in companies like Hopsketch Films? And why would they have concerns? And what concerns would they have? If you have any questions for language or vocabulary here, of course, let me know. Cool. Oh, I'll make that bigger so you can see it properly, but you can see my face still. Yeah. So what type of companies do investors look for? So it says that they've made many critically successful films. Critically successful. But the fiscal year has been mediocre. Fiscal year, not such common language in everyday English, but definitely common in business English. Fiscal year means money. The financial year has been okay. It's been okay. It's been mediocre, despite making many successful films. And acclaimed, here, June Wheaton connects with acclaimed executive producer Christine Simpson. Acclaimed means that they are very successful. They have received many rewards or awards for their work. So very well recognized for their work. And then here, though is probably not such common language. Though is the same as however. Yeah, to talk about contrast. She is considering a future investment. Contrast, she has some concerns. She's considering a future investment. However, she has some concerns. She's considering future investment, though she has some concerns. Is to express a contrast in ideas. Perfect. She'd like to invest because they make acclaimed films, but given the mediocre income of the year, she has doubts. Perfect, Marco. That is a perfect answer. That is why she has her concerns, because yes, they're successful. She wants to invest, though their year has been mediocre for money. Perfect, their income. Alessia, investors tend to look for reliable companies, of course. So this is the reason for her concerns. They want something reliable and something that will give them probably big money, give them a lot of money. So she has some concerns. Clara. Investors are looking for companies who produce successful movies. So even though the fiscal year hasn't been good, the company produces good things. Cool. Perfect. Yeah. So the fiscal year has been okay. So it's not something to say no. She's just cautious. She just has some worries. Perfect. Perfect. Cool. So one word I didn't look at here in the text is despite. Despite making many successful films. So despite means, how can I explain this in a simple way? So many successful films, you think, equals a successful fiscal year. Despite means we have an unexpected result. So they've made many successful films, unexpected result, fiscal year is mediocre. So they've had a mediocre year despite making successful films. So there's been no connection between the result and the action here. The action is making films. The result is a mediocre year. There is no expected connection between the two. You expect something different. Alessia, in this case, although the producer had previously won an award, the low income makes the investment very risky. Yes, I completely agree. You're very, very right. And good use of though, good use of target language. Wonderful. Here we have a little conversation and we can talk about why she's hesitant, but you guys have already spoken about that. So it's nice, we can get through this quite quickly. June Wheaton, thanks for coming to, I can start again, I got that wrong. Thanks for meeting with me despite your busy schedule. Christine Simpson. That's true, although today I have some free time. So why should I invest in Hopskitch in spite of your recent problems? Jean. Although we have had issues with earnings, our reviews are at an all-time high. I agree, though reviews don't mean earnings. In spite of having financial difficulties, the press we generated will bring future name recognition. I have my doubts, though. I'm willing to take the risk. Oh, I read that wrong. I read the comma in the wrong place. I have my doubts, though I'm willing to take the risk. Yeah, she needs to sound more positive at the end there, because she says, I have my doubts, negative, though I'm willing to take the risk. Yeah, careful, because intonation shows the difference in fluidity, confidence, and fluency in using a language. So I have my doubts, though I'm willing to take the risk. So our questions here is, why is Christine hesitant? We spoke about that before. And can we find examples of words that connect to ideas? So let's focus here. Find examples of words that connect to ideas in the text. I'll make it bigger for you so you can see it properly. Spoke about some before in the previous slide. Perfect, Marco. Yes, exactly. The ones that we were speaking about before, despite, and a new one, although, which is exactly the same as though. Though and in spite of, wonderful, guys. You found the language perfectly. So we can move on to the next slide immediately. We've got despite, in spite of, though, although, used several times throughout. Clara, despite the fact she is a risk-taking person, she has doubts because she is not bound to get. She is not bound to get a good income. Cool. So careful with that one. She is not bound to get a good income. But awesome, guys. Really good job finding all of that language. So for the last minute here, we just need to read through this and look at the structure of these phrases. So I'll make this big for you so you can see it properly. Using the connectives to express contrasting ideas. Despite plus gerund or noun. So the gerund is the form of a verb with ing. So despite having, or we can use a noun, despite a great product. Despite having a great product, or despite a great product. In spite of is the same, gerund or noun. So they lost money in spite of a new campaign. Marco, you've just asked, can you make an example of the use of though at the end of the phrase? It's very common. Ah, yeah, you're exactly right. Let's go back a stage then to look at this conversation here and put though at the end of the sentence. It's exactly the same. It makes no difference. You could say, I have my doubts. I'm willing to risk though. I'm willing to take the risk though. It's exactly the same. You could put at the beginning of the phrase, though I'm willing to take the risk, or I'm willing to take the risk though. The only thing that changes is our intonation. Here, it's exactly the same. Although we have had issues with earnings, our reviews are at an all-time high. I agree. Reviews don't mean earnings, though. It just goes at the end. There's no difference in any other structure. Yeah. And it's the same with although. You could say, that's true. Today I have some free time, though. Yeah. So though can go at the beginning, at the end of the sentence. We've had some issues with earnings, though our reviews are at an all-time high. Or we've had some issues with earnings. Our reviews are at an all-time high, though. It's exactly the same. If you put though at the end, we should use a comma before. No, you would use your comma in the same place because though is connected to the same clause. So I have my doubts, comma, I'm willing to take the risk though. Yeah. I hope that's clear for you guys. Here, I will leave you with this slide and I will make it bigger for you because this is talking about our grammar. And unfortunately, we have gone over a little bit by 2 minutes now. So if you want to look at this grammar more closely, unfortunately, we don't have time, but take a screenshot or take a picture of this screen. That could be very, very helpful for you. Or just look at the YouTube video again on YouTube. But I've got to go now, guys, because I have another webinar coming up very soon at 8 o'clock. If you're free, you can join me, but it is level 4.5. Level 4.5 at 8 o'clock, and I can't remember what the focus is at the moment. But yeah, if you want, I'll see you there. If not, enjoy your dinner, enjoy your burger, enjoy your steak, enjoy your pizza, guys. It was good to speak to you again. Have a good evening. Thank you very much.